one of the greatest Simpson episodes that I just feel like that it's just so well done that it's just my personal favorite Simpson episode. At least when it either all, even if you're counting the newer seasons or the earlier seasons, this one though I just feel like it just stands out though. It's just definitely one of my all-time actual favorite episodes of The Simpsons, and for a good reason too. Because it's got good writing, right? It's got good writing. It's just so well done. And I just feel like it just does the characters in such good ways, too. One of the greatest Simpson episodes I've ever seen, of course. Again, going from the earlier seasons. And that is, of course, Homer Badman. I just love this episode, though. For real. I just love this episode. Because this episode just shows you the great. I mean, if you're talking from a perspective from different people, because again, there's a whole lot of people saying that the Simpsons have lost its taste of, of trying to entertain or something like that. I mean, I still think it's personally good to this day. I mean, yeah, I wouldn't say it's as good as the earlier seasons. I definitely would agree. It's definitely a lot better with the earlier seasons, but I definitely wouldn't say it's not all terrible, even with it being with season 35 and being renewed for 36, right? But again, this episode just shows the greatness of early Simpsons. And again, I just love rewatching this episode time and time again because it's just that good, I find. It's just that good of an episode, I find. And I feel like it's a topic, or the whole plot is also something that I'm sure a lot of real people have gone through when it comes to sexually being harassed, right? Of the feeling of, or being accused of being sexually harassed, as Homer did in this episode. And just seeing of all the whole world just making memes and stuff, and just thinking that he did something that was just a misunderstanding, right? It's just really, how it just makes this such a good episode of Homer and Marge attending this gummy convention of, yeah, how Homer is just looking for the ticket for it. And of course, the kids having to have a babysitter, which is them having a college student to babysit them. And again, Homer, it just shows of how funny Homer is as a character. Yes, he is stupid, but he's not the brightest, but he's still one of the funniest as well. And especially how he can just get his hands on any candy he can get. And especially this whole convention where you can just grab candy and just walk off, like, just perfectly fine. It's just pretty funny. And of all the candy, Homer finding this gummy Venus de Milo, like candy, gummy, that is protected behind glass, because apparently of how important it is. And of course, out of all the candy there is for people to get, Homer wants to get this one, which, that's definitely in Homer's character, right? It's definitely in Homer's character. And also, this episode just shows to have real great comedy. If I didn't mention that before, this episode just has really good comedy, just put in at perfect times, and the jokes are really great as well that they put into. Again, it just shows you the greatness of The Simpsons, too. And, of course, Homer wants to get the candy. Again, of all the candy that he gets, I mean, there's even a point where, of course, he gets a whole bowl of candy and he just pours it down his pants as well. That just shows you how obsessed he is of wanting to get the candy. He's just even pours some down his pants to take with him. And of course he does a diversion by making Marge doing a distraction which doesn't really help when Homer just does the really sneakily move as possible just by breaking the glass. Yeah, he just literally punches the glass. Like, that's... like, you would think that's not really that smart. But, again, it's Homer that we're talking about. Right? It's Homer that we're talking about. You can't be surprised of what Homer would do. And then he grabs a soda and some Pop Rocks and mixes it together and causes an explosion. So pretty much he commits grand theft. And you know what's pretty funny? It's never mentioned on the news, or never mentioned again by anybody else. Just to think about that. Homer committed grand theft. Of taking a very priceless gummy, and for the rest of the episode, nobody never mentions it again. Because, again, the episode is on this misunderstanding of being sexually harassed. Of a misunderstanding. And, of course, Bart and Lisa just eating all the candy, which, yeah, even if when it came to Halloween candy, I didn't even bother trying to eat all of the candy before it gone bad, because that's right, because I would even forget too. And of course, Homer having to take the babysitter home, which of course this is where all the events take place, when Homer is taking the babysitter home, because before he was trying to find his lost gummy Venus de Milo gummy, he had to take the babysitter home. And when he realizes that the gummy was stuck on the babysitter's pants, there's just him with his expression that he does when he was trying to grab it, that got stuck on the babysitter's butt. And, of course, it's a misunderstanding, right? It's a misunderstanding. Homer wasn't trying to be sexually harassing, right? He wasn't trying to be like that. He was just trying to grab the gummy, and it's just a misunderstanding of how it looked. And, of course, the next day, the babysitter comes back and now has a crowd, and everybody is all against Homer. Everybody is just angry at Homer for him accusing him for this crime. Even though it was just a misunderstanding. And even his own friends as well begin to turn on him. Everybody start to turn on Homer because of this crime that he didn't even do, right? A crime that he didn't actually do. It just looked like it, but it wasn't what you would think. And even the news and all of the media makes fun of Homer. Just like a Simpsons scandal update, Homer sleeps nude because believing that he will get sexual powers. Like, I just love some of these, though. And just the whole news just making these stories on Homer. Even having this whole re-sketched movie taking the events of Homer's events of what happened. Again, this whole episode is just really played. Did I mention that I just love this episode? Did I mention it? I don't think I did. But, again, it's just so goodly written. And there's just so many great and hilarious moments, too. And, of course, the whole Homer saying that they're going to start a new life under the sea. And the whole singing Under the Sea song while he's just eating all of the fish. And, of course, it is not going to pass over, because Homer is going to continue to get accused. And even Homer finds he finds this site, or not finds it, but he gets a call from this channel called Rock Bottom that actually says that they want to help Homer. They say that they want to help Homer, but all they do is just make the situation worse. And of course, that eventually starts to make Homer's own family start to doubt his innocence, of course. Which, I mean, Bart says a line that is perfectly fitting for an episode like this. Him saying, "Why would anyone want to touch a girl's butt? That's where cooties come from." That's one of the funny lines from Bart. I can just say, right. That's just one of the funny lines that I can say that I've heard from Bart. And that's true, though, I guess, that you can also say. But, of course, even after they even tried, Homer tried to put in some works to say that he didn't do it, and eventually, of course, it still doesn't work, and eventually, Groundskeeper Willie comes and actually got proof, actual legit proof, of Homer's wrongdoing, and showing that it wasn't what it seemed, and it was just a misunderstanding. And of course, everybody apologizes, even the whole staff that got Homer and accused him even further. Again, this episode is just really well done, and it just shows the greatness of The Simpsons, right? It just shows you the greatness of The Simpsons, and I would just always, always love this episode. Definitely in my favorite episodes of the whole show, I can just say, especially the earlier seasons. Because it's just well done, well made, lots of great moments, lots of great jokes. It does the characters so well. It's just one of the greatest episodes, and will always be one of my favorite episodes of the show.